Massive sports weekend in the Emerald City, and you are looking at the one of the three events that are going to be held inside, and that's today at Climate Pledge Arena, where the Seattle Kraken play host to the Edmonton Oilers. The other two games outside, Washington Huskies and the Oregon Ducks, and tomorrow the Seahawks and the Vikes. That man, Stuart Skinner, looking to bounce back after a tough outing along with the rest of his teammates. Edmonton not ready to go Tuesday and pounded at home 8-3. Skinner departed after the first period, having surrendered 4 goals on 8 shots. At the other end, Joey Decord has been struggling lately. Just 1 win in his last 5 starts, but he beat Edmonton back in October for only his 2nd career win against the Oilers in 9 decisions. Zach Hyman ready to go against Mason Marchment. Hyman, one of the 4 all-time scorers against the Seattle Kraken that are on the Edmonton roster.
Little tap by Mason Marchment there. He's the one that hurt Zach Hyman last year in the playoffs. Said, hey, both gave each other taps, but no friends on the pond.
He's Louis DeBrus, got Jack Michaels, and we're underway as McDavid sends it around the boards. Draisaitl, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, who returns to the lineup today, and Zach Hyman are in order the 4 all-time scorers head-to-head against the Seattle Kraken, who lost 12 of the first 14 matchups, including 9 in a row, but have won the last 2, including that victory back in October. Matty Beniers in over the line. He'll send it in deep. McDavid started on the line with Hyman and Matt Savoy. Ekholm and Bouchard defensively. Your starting lineup brought to you by Bet99.net. Decord sends one into the corner off the rush, and Darnell Nurse, who scored Edmonton's 2nd goal in that last game against Seattle, picks it up from Regula and sends it ahead for Vasily Podkolzin. The Oilers 10-10-5. Seattle 11-6-6. 3rd in the Pacific. A shot by Podkolzin, snared by Decord. And this is what you were talking about, Louis. Marchment and Hyman, a nice moment here.
Well, ex-teammates in Toronto as well with the Toronto organization and the Leafs, and he comes up, gives him a little tap, says, listen, he's a physical guy, Mason Marchment. He's not going to turn over any hit. It was a fluky kind of injury that kept Zach Hyman out of the final. And up until 6 games ago, he had been on the outside looking in. Still looking for his first goal, a couple assists in those 6 games. But I like seeing that. I like, you know what, listen, these guys are tough men. They go out, they battle. They're trying to kind of hurt each other, to be honest with you, from time to time. But when it all shakes down, they're humans. And I don't mind seeing that tap by Mason.
Shot by Kulak, and that's grabbed by Decord. And let's face it, hits have followed around the Marchment family for more than just one generation, as you well know.
Yeah, all the way back in his junior days for his dad, Brian, who was one or 2 in hits in the Ontario Hockey League every single year before he turned pro, and then you better have your head in a swivel. And Mason's the same. Mason's a big kid, 6'5". He's looking to be physical up on the top line here in Seattle, and he adds that element, and why I think that Lane Lambert put him in that line to kind of say, hey, we need some muscle up there, somebody that's going to go to the corner with Schwartz out, a little bit of shuffling of the lines, McCann back in for Seattle, trying to find that mix.
Nugent Hopkins up to Adam Henrique. He'll send it down low. And just to put a period on that, fair to say no closer relationship hockey-wise in your life than Mason's father?
Right up there, bud. Right up there. No question.
Seattle with control of the puck, a clear by Alexiak, slugged back by Nugent Hopkins toward the net and settled by Decord. Riker Evans, who was not in that first game where Seattle held on to beat Edmonton 3-2, up to Alexiak up the right-hand side. They didn't have Jared McCann either. Shane Wright did not touch that puck, so that's an icing call against Seattle.
This period brought to you by James H. Brown Accident Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters in injury law.
Chris Knobloch pretty vocal this week, had some practice time for the first time in a while, the longest break since the start of the season, to go over some things, work in practice, and said the enthusiasm was there.
Ekholm cuts hard to the net, flipped a backhander just wide. Rebounder cleared, and battling for it, Ryan Winterton gets it clear, and all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1. Here comes Ty Kartye, shoots off the side of the net. Crowd reacted, thought it was in, but that kicked off the side of the net and no opportunity, and a rebound for Wright. And now an icing call whistled against Edmonton coming the other way.
Well, you go back to that game on October 25th here in Seattle, 3-2 win for the Kraken. All 3 goals were scored off the rush. Here's the chance off the face-off by Ekholm. Nice drive to the net. This is the 2-on-1 I was talking about, and something Edmonton's going to have to be aware of. All 3 goals in that 3-2 loss last time they played the Kraken were off the rush, and Ty Cartier had one of them. Almost had another one there as he bulged the twine on the outside of the net, glove hand side of Skinner.
35-year-old former Oiler Jordan Eberle had the other 2. He's now in his 2nd year as the captain of the Kraken. Hands off, and a quick shot taken by Vince Dunn sent wide. A rebound, Adam Larsson, another ex-Oiler. That shot shattered a stick, and the Oilers come up with a rebound, advanced to Savoy, and now Bouchard will back off. Instead, tried to bunt it ahead for Savoy. That's a miscommunication. Unforced error. Icing call whistle against Edmonton. 3 minutes in, 3 icing calls against the visitors.
Also 3 times they've had possession of the puck and haven't been able to find a clean outlet into the neutral zone for Edmonton. For Lane Lambert, his team's a team that works hard. 4 lines deep, he expects everybody to go out there and play the same way. And he said that's how we have to get the job done. And he's got a team that's going to make you earn every inch of ice that you're going to battle for, and that's what he's expecting in this game tonight versus Edmonton, a team that he knows has had success against Seattle, but they've beaten them once this year in a hard, tight fought game, and he's looking for another one of those against Edmonton.
Oilers outshot the Kraken 33-23 that night, but it was not enough. The board was rock solid. Lane Lambert's club 3rd to last in scoring, but 2nd best in goals against. And if they get to 3, they win the hockey game.
And that's just it, right? They're a team that's very comfortable without scoring a lot of goals. They feel that's going to come organically with the way they play and continuing to play the right way.
Draisaitl to Mangiapane, his shot again gloved by Decord. They've tested that glove hand, and Joey Decord lays another to rest 3.5 minutes in.
Ryan Lindgren a little shaken up on this play here as he gets tangled up with Draisaitl. He goes to the bench afterwards. This is a nice pass. Draisaitl wins that battle. Lindgren's stick evaporates, so Draisaitl knows he has time. He waits, puts it through McCann right to the driving Mangiapane. He gets a quick hard shot with a screen in front. Good save by Decord.
Draisaitl chat with Mangiapane before the draw. He enters the game on a 7-game point streak, 14 goals on the season. Still top 10 in the league. Draisaitl flicks it back to the point. Shot Regula. That sailed wide. Rebound hacked at by Capo Caco. Here's a one-timer and a save made. Good read. And Draisaitl might want a second look at this. He feels like Decord's glove might have been inside the goal line.
Well, what a pass by Podkolzin, but because of the distance, it does give a little bit of time for Decord to get over there. Look at that long look by Draisaitl, as you mentioned afterwards. That glove was just a little bit inside the line. Watch this.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's going to be a really tough one, though. And they are going to take a little break, it seems like, to make sure, as they're going to look at this one. The question now is, can you see the puck in the glove? That's the problem. And it's going to be a hard one. That look kind of says it all from Chris Knobloch, but they will take a long, hard look at this one, or a quick one for that matter, to see if they can see where the puck is in that glove. It was really close.
Tom Shimoleski, Grady Hamilton having a look. I always defer to the players on this one, and Draisaitl is not a guy who wants to waste everyone's time.
Especially the angle that he was on.
Yes.
So he would have saw that kind of pop around the post from his vantage point. Scored a lot of goals from there. Kind of knows what to look for to see if it's in the net or not, doesn't he? But again, this happened quick, and I got to give Decord credit. He kind of held his ground. It is not going to be a goal. And he pulled it out of there pretty quick. And if you see the white, it's just going to be really difficult. Yeah, it does go in the pocket. Is it on the line? Boy, I'll tell you, I think he just keeps that. I think he just keeps it over, though. But you'll never be able to tell 100%, so that's why it's no goal and face off to his left.
Draisaitl pulls it back. Regula, snapshot, the save made. Decord, rebound to Chandler Stevenson, turned it over. But Colson, Draisaitl, shots on net.
Yeah, and this is another good one. Good pick off by Podkolzin. Jumps forward around the winger on the wall to be able to pick this pass off. And then immediately finds Draisaitl. You have to kick this one to skate, from skate to stick before getting the shot, which allowed Decord to get a little bit more into position. Makes a nice save. 2 good looks for Draisaitl in a place he loves to shoot the puck from.
Vince Dunn off the draw, able to clear for the Kraken, who've yet to get entrenched in this hockey game. That's putting it mildly. Cartier had that bit off the rush, but it wasn't on net. Shots are 8-0 right now in favor of Edmonton. Battle in the corner. Marchment can't contain. Flipped out by Podkolzin. Draisaitl, who's been active with a giveaway. Jordan Eberle scored twice in the win back in October. Draisaitl makes a move around Eberle, his one-time teammate. Now tried to center, but Larson was there to bump it up to Matty Beniers, who among 2021 draftees, only Wyatt Johnson has outscored Matty Beniers. Turned over by Winterton at center. Blackburn, who had 7 hits and initiated his first NHL goal the other night in his second game, watches as the Kraken clear back to the Oiler line. Curtis Lazar back in the lineup after missing 4. Here's a drive and a save made by Stuart Skinner off the rush. Cartier with his second excellent opportunity this afternoon. Frederick, who was shaken up in the loss to Dallas, blocked a shot, ended up playing less than 6 minutes. But he's able to go today as the Oilers took Wednesday off, practiced Thursday and Friday, and arrive at this Saturday matinee eager for redemption. Shot off the rush, Winterton, and that's easily fielded by Stuart Skinner, whose career record against Seattle is 8-3.
Solid save here by Stuart Skinner. Again, a rush attack for this line. We saw Cartier earlier have a pretty good chance. This time he tests the glove down the left-hand side. And a good active save by Skinner out at the tip of the blue paint to cut the angle down. Flashes the glove, gets a big chunk of that one from Cartier.
Nugent Hopkins missed 9 games. And now he's back for Edmonton. Point-per-game player, not only this season, but historically against Seattle. Wins the face-off for Berkeley Cat, who's still looking for his first NHL goal. Riker Evans, a hard pinch, maintains for now. Evans, his 3rd year from Seattle. Blake Eberle played his junior hockey in Regina. Bouchard, Nugent Hopkins, Matthias Janmark. Bouchard, miscommunication. Nugent Hopkins couldn't handle it cleanly. Finally, Janmark dug it out. Adam Henry, drop pass off the boards. Zach Colm on his backhand takes a shot that floated just wide.
That one had eyes.
It did. Janmark. Henry. Puck dislodged. Henry stays with it. Regains against Evans. Around the boards, and Nurse just could not keep that in the zone. Edmonton will change on the fly. Nurse ambles to center, shoots it around the glass. Ryan Lindgren apparently okay. Louis noted he was shaken up early. Freddie Gaudreau, his first year with the Kraken, missed the first half of the year with injury. Brandon Montour taking it hard to the hole. Couldn't get a shot away. Marchment, likewise, bottled up by McDavid. Savoy had a chance to get it out, did a nice job of tying up Eberle, and here come the Oilers. Zach Hyman still looking for his first goal of the year. Around Lindgren, hard to the net. And Beniers was there to cut it off and send it up to Eberle.
Really good back checking by the forwards in the last 2 sequences. Brandon Montour can really fly. He got up on the rush to try and activate. He was tracked down from behind, which allowed Regula to stand up strong, and Kulak, I believe, to kind of get a stick in there, break things up, and turn that chance aside. Something I know Edmonton has really started to concern them with the defensive troubles they've had this year, is forwards coming back a little harder.
But Colson over to Andrew Mangiapane. But Colson will send it around the boards. Brett Kulak will step up. Redirected dangerously wide by Colson, right to Draisaitl. Spooned it out. Emerson is shot. And that glanced off Mangiapane. Should mention, Kapanen looked like he might be a member of this line and then hurt himself at practice. And it looks like a re-aggravation, Louis, that's going to keep him out a handful of weeks, unfortunately. That was a tough moment at practice the other day.
Frustrating year for Kapanen. He came in looking really good, I thought. He was skating, wheeling.
We got a penalty coming. I think it's Kulak down low on the goal line against McCann. And 8 minutes in, Seattle, having been outplayed, will nevertheless get a look at the game's first power play on Sportsnet.
Chevrolet believes the truck should be as capable as they are dependable.
like the rugged Colorado. And
couple of rushes, but outside of that, Louis, what do you make of Edmonton's first 8 minutes today?
Strong start. They've come out to work. They've come out backtracking. They're finding outlets out of the zone, although they have turned it over a few times trying to find that pass, and they've struggled with that this year. But a tough time to take a penalty here for Brett Kulak. It was just a little hold and a little battle in the corner with Jared McCann, but you have all the momentum, a huge kill coming up here for Edmonton, an opportunity for Seattle, who hasn't seen a whole lot of chances here in this first period, only 2 shots in net, as you mentioned, to get things going.
So the Kraken go with Chandler Stevenson on the draw, and we're going to do this again as he was tied up with Curtis Lazar. Actually, it reminds me a little bit of the first meeting where the Oilers controlled vast swaths of play, and in Seattle on counterattacks, it seemed every time off the rush it was in Edmonton's net. Off the draw, you've got Vince Dunn against Lazar up top. Shot Stevenson, and that was fought off by Skinner. Rebound, Jared McCann, Seattle's points leader 4 years in a row. Missed the beginning of the season due to injury. His shot tipped. Eberle, side of the net, gives it up McCann. Career high 40 goals, a blast and a save, Stuart Skinner. As the Kraken power play goes to work against an Oiler kill that gave up 3 on Tuesday.
And the Oilers didn't see Jared McCann on October 25th in that 3-2 loss here in Seattle, and he's going to shoot the puck a lot. He's always been a tremendous shooter. He ripped a little wrister through on a tip that did get tipped wide of the net. I believe it was Eberle that got a piece of it. And then the second one-timer is swallowed up by Skinner. So another player back in the lineup helping a team that scored the fewest goals in the National Hockey League this year, the Seattle Kraken, get their top goal scorer back and healthy.
Henrique won the draw. Ekholm hammered it down. And now challenging up top, Savoy and Henrique right at the line. Regula and Nurse. Saucered over to Dunn. Now McCann tried to whip it in front. That one off Nurse's skate. Henrique comes over in close quarters. McCann scoots it back to Dunn, who gets it back from Eberle. Vince Dunn waiting, dishing. Stevenson tried to go to the middle for Beniers, and that was deflected up and out of play halfway through the penalty to Brett Kulak.
Job by Henrique there to tip that one up into the crowd. Good penalty killing, which is a must. 17 road games this season, including this one today versus the Kraken, the most in the league. Calgary and New York both with 16. So a heavy road schedule to start this season for Edmonton. That's why for Chris Knobloch, that last week at home, to be able to settle in, get some practices under their belt. And he said the players kind of responded the way he expected them to. They understand they're in it. They have to battle. They put the work in practice, started to have a little enthusiasm, which he said has been missing this year, and rightfully so with the grind of the schedule. But he's hoping that kind of sets them straight in the right direction.
And the schedule gets normalized to a point as Seattle is whistled for a hand pass here. Louis, it was telling for me when we walked in to chat with Paul Maurice, and he said, guys, before we talk about anything, the only difference between Florida and Edmonton is we've had a normal schedule and they haven't.
Well, that's the other team that can relate, too. Yeah. They've been to the Stanley Cup final actually 3 years in a row, so they've played more hockey than any team in the National Hockey League in the last 3 years, the Florida Panthers. So they speak the language, they understand. But I think to a team in the league right now, with it being an Olympic year, it's a condensed schedule and it is heavy. Everybody's feeling it.
Kakko back in the lineup. A blast by Montour and a save made by Stuart Skinner. Montour sadly lost his brother earlier this season. 91 miles an hour on that shot.
Yeah, good shot through traffic, and you know, Janmark's trying to get the block here, but it does get by him. This is a solid save. As you can see, Kaapo Kakko also injected back into the lineup here for Seattle, right in front, looking for anything left over, and Stuart Skinner says nope.
Broke his hand in the preseason, played 7 games, and then had a bit of a groin issue that's kept him out for the last 2 weeks until today. Nugent Hopkins, a high flip. Of course, Nugent Hopkins was hurt early in that Colorado game, didn't recognize, played the whole game, and now back for the first time in a couple weeks. And boy, he touches all facets of the game for the Oilers. Kakko.
Hard to put into words how important he is to this team.
And leadership.
Yep. Longest tenured Oiler. He's the veteran player in the room, and it shows in all the areas that he touches, as you mentioned. Good penalty call.
Cleared by Lazar. Marchment to the team's 5-on-5 with a wrist shot that slipped in the corner by Skinner. And this looks like goaltender interference to me on Marchment. I think this penalty is going to go to Seattle. Marchment's
surprised because he got bumped. I mean, Lazar bumped him right into the goalie, and he's not too happy about it. But here it is here as Marchment drives this one through. He takes the shot, follows it up, and then boom, right there.
Matt and Aaron are his father and mother, and his mom had cancer and MS at the age of 18. So when McCann himself turned 18, he put a tattoo on his leg with her initials EM, along with the cancer symbol and a hockey stick through it. He said at the time, she's done so much for me, I wanted to show her I care. And I think, Mom, the message has been sent from your son.
Thank you, Gene. Love being a part of Hockey Fights Cancer Initiatives. Here are the Oilers on the power play. And McDavid got that one up on the heel of his stick. Came off the glass, and the rebound returned to him. Nugent-Hopkins back on this power play unit. Brought to you by Play Alberta. Bouchard, Nugent-Hopkins, Bouchard, McDavid calling. And dishing right back to Bouchard. Draisaitl in the mid-slot. Hyman in front of the Seattle goaltender. Here's McDavid. Oilers power play ranked 3rd in the league. Seattle penalty kill 3rd from last. So this figures to be a mammoth advantage, but the Kraken are able to muscle it up the left-hand side.
Crowd not too happy with that call on Mason Marchment. I kind of agree with him. He was pushed by Lazar. Actually, a pretty good bump that sent his course into Stuart Skinner. He did not go in there on his own accord, but the penalty's called. They're not taking it back, so Edmonton with an opportunity.
Here's McDavid. Stymied by Adam Larson, who had a chance to get it out. Hung up with Hyman. Winterton tried to drag it free, but it comes to Bouchard. Nugent-Hopkins loads. McDavid to the net. Bouchard. Nugent-Hopkins shoots and scores. And Edmonton takes a 1-0 lead on the power play. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is 6th in 17 games played.
Yeah, he's so important. We just talked about it. And right from the get-go off the face-off, he's making plays. He made a beautiful pass, cross seam over to McDavid that missed the net high, but this is just moving the puck around. The power play's gone a little stagnant. Only 2 for 16 in their last 9 games coming into this game today. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in his first game back, welcome back as he puts that one home. Beautiful pass by Bouchard. Sells the shot. The court has to stand his ground at the edge of the blue paint. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has time to stop it, pick his spot, bury it for a 1-0 lead. A little bit of a double slap for the Seattle Kraken. As I mentioned, that was a tough call on Mason Marchment, but the Oilers make them pay.
And with that goal, Save-On Foods is giving away their first prize. Nugent-Hopkins from Bouchard and McDavid at 11:29. Time of the power play goal. And a turnover. Here's Gaudreau in front, but a nice play by Kulak to snatch it away and prevent a glorious chance. Another miscommunication between Skinner and his defense. Henry hits the line with Matthias Janmark. Tried to go net front, broken up by Riker Evans. And Seattle busts out. Evans, little give and go with Berkeley. Cat. Back behind, you've got Cat. Gaudreau. Couldn't unload the shot. 3 times a double-digit goal scorer in Minnesota. Yet to score here in Seattle. And again, what has been an injury-shortened campaign to this point on tour. Turned over. Colson. 1-on-2, waits for help. Sends it out to Regula. His shot hit the skate of Montour. Glanced to Eberle. Rolled ahead for Manny Beniers. Lost the puck as he hit the Edmonton line. Scampering the other way, Mangiapane lifted in by Draisaitl. Bouncing puck corralled and cleared by Lindgren. Beniers got popped from behind. A reload for Seattle with 7 minutes to play. A lot of poise showing by Nugent-Hopkins. Sometimes you wonder, well, what if you one-time that puck? Well, he felt he needed to grab it cleanly. Marchment shot, deflected, high up off the plexi. Gets his own rebound. But when he tried to gather and send it out to Lindgren, had it disrupted. Lindgren held the zone, threw it around the boards. Regula. Eberle won't let him escape. Good pop on Marchment from behind. Clean shot on him. from Darnell Nurse. I think Marchman's a little shaken. Draisaitl, Mangiapane tried to give it back to him. No one home. Draisaitl was expecting that to maybe be in the net.
Or a rebound, because he drove himself right to the far post afterwards.
Beniers. McCann will golf it in. Slugged back the other way by Ekholm, but held in. Tolvanen. Stevenson tried to center. And that was thwarted by Matt Savoy. McDavid will send it across for Bouchard, and here comes Edmonton 3-on-2. Zach Hyman shoots, and Decord got a piece to send it off the glass. Savoy thought he was hooked. Centering pass intercepted by Dunn. Intended for McDavid from Hyman.
He was wide open, too. Edmonton's been first on pucks here in this first period. And that's been all the difference here. 10-5 in shots.
Here's Alexiak, smacks one toward the net, blocked by Clattenburg. Rebound to Zach Hyman. Up to center, knocked down midair by Dunn. Clattenburg getting worked over by Alexiak. Dunn took a peek, then fanned on it. Lazar threw it out. Kulak shot. Rebound. Oh, and Clattenburg had a wide open net and shoveled it wide. Rebound, Tolvanen. Back through center. Clattenburg back on the puck. Well, that's why I guess he's only 5th among 2024 goal scorers. 2024 career goals. That draft class right now, Clattenburg with 1 is tied for 5th. Frederick, a little flip at the net that's fielded flawlessly by Joey Decord. It's 1-0 Edmonton. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 9 games in absentia. He's back.
All right, a look at, Trent Frederick was alongside Alec Regula and Ty Emberson and his wife Carolyn were the hosts for Thanksgiving on Wednesday. Now, there were no photos from that, but Ty, thanks to his parents, found these photos. 2017, a senior in high school. That was Thanksgiving Day. I love this photo. 2015, a sophomore, the couch Thanksgiving dinner, drinking it down with milk. And this is Thanksgiving Day, the Kraken, hosted by Chandler Stevenson. And it's a Canadian, Louis and Jack, hosting American Thanksgiving. And I'm not pulling your turkey leg.
Hey, you don't have to convince hockey players to eat turkey twice a year. They'll gladly do it. No problem.
I actually bought the other day a bag of potato chips that were flavored turkey dinner. It was just too irresistible. I had to give it a shot.
I know you guys had a feast for Thanksgiving.
Oh, of course. Nurse. Sadly, I make no excuses to miss meals. I need to start. Here's Regula. Chopping at it for Nugent-Hopkins. The game's lone goal scorer, Nugent-Hopkins on the power play from Bouchard and McDavid. And the Oilers have a 1-0 lead. First 8 shots of the game belong to Edmonton. The next 5 to Seattle. The last 3 back in favor of the visitors. Everly will send it in deep. Stuart Skinner up the right-hand side. Lindgren a shot. Save Skinner. A rebound. Chipped out of there by Bouchard. Everly. Lindgren. Dishing off to Montour. Sharp angle pass to the front, broken up by Podkolzin, and here comes Edmonton. Draisaitl, headmans it to Mangiapane, got thrown down by Montour.
It's one of those ones again where the arm came around to the front.
Everly to Montour, bouncing puck, and a right pad save made by Stuart Skinner.
With more capability than ever, a new Toyota Tacoma can power every adventure. Get yours at your local Prairie dealer today.
Mangiapane and Montour having some words again after that little interaction. I mean, Montour, the backtrack, I'm sorry, you can't put your arm around a player, grab him in the chest, and then throw him down. I mean, you give a penalty for just grabbing the shoulder at times. I don't know how that's not a call. We've seen that a few times, but good chance in tight that Stuart Skinner, again, from Mason Marchman, driving to that net, just a little tip on it. Montour, with that speed, was the one that tracked back on Mangiapane. I thought he was already there, but got away with that one.
McDavid against Stevenson, who's going to be moved out of the circle and replaced by McCann. Seattle will take the next 4 days off and then meet Edmonton again on Thursday night at Rogers Place. We'll have it for you on Sportsnet. Edmonton Has a Tuesday matchup with Minnesota in between. And boy, the Wild are hot. 7 in a row now after a victory over Colorado. We got a penalty coming against Edmonton. It's a high stick at 16:54 this first period. So the Oilers, while leading, will have to withstand Seattle's second power play of the afternoon.
2 minutes. It's going to be on Jared McCann, and it's going to be Brett Kulak going back to the box. That's twice McCann has drawn a penalty on him. And here is he's trying to just lift the stick a little bit. It misses the shaft and comes up and clips him in the face. High sticking the call. Little Zorro-like Kulak on that one, but have to have control of your stick.
Yeah,
high
he didn't
sticking
need
is
that
the call.
either.
No. Yep.
So, Oiler penalty killers tested. Again, in a situation where nearly everything did go wrong for Edmonton as they were down 4 after the first period Tuesday night. The penalty kill struggled, but solid effort in their first opportunity today. And now Nugent Hopkins almost had Decord in no man's land. They'll fall back and actually be replaced. A late change. Henrique hacked it away from Matty Beniers. Do we have too many men on Edmonton? This may be too many men on Edmonton. They're going to discuss it. It was very close. Nugent Hopkins was coming off. Henrique popped on, helped break it up to Matty Beniers. And I think this is 5-on-3.
Edmonton, bench minor. Too many men on the ice.
It's exactly what it is. Too many men.
Louis, give this a look and tell me what you think. It was very tight. I don't know whether we have a perfect look at. What do you think here?
Well, you can see 3 on, and here's Nugent Hopkins has already jumped on the ice here. Now, he doesn't touch the puck, but, I mean, he's off to a long start. And, again, he's already on the backtrack interfering with the play before Janmark's off the ice. So, good call.
When he stepped in his path.
If he just would have left him go, different story. They might have let it go because he hadn't touched the puck, but...
On the other hand, it's a breakaway if you do.
You know, and he does get in the way a bit there, right?
Second 5-on-3 this year for the Kraken. And it's nearly a full 2 minutes. Nugent Hopkins beaten off the draw by Stevenson. Kraken look for the equalizer. Bouchard and Ekholm, the other skaters out. 5-on-3. Montour. Stevenson. Done. One-timer save. Stuart Skinner knew that shot was coming from Montour and laid it to rest before Eberle could poke it free.
Good save. It'll be important for Stuart Skinner to make those kind of saves in this 5-on-3 because you know you're going to give up that quality shot. It might be from distance like this one. Good job by Bouchard to get right out of the way. At the same time, he's kind of blocking, not allowing anybody to get to the front. Eberle's off to the other side, but you have to let your goaltender see that. If you're not going to block that shot, let him see it. He sees it, he makes the save.
Nugent Hopkins against Stevenson again. And remember, it's Nugent Hopkins who has the power play goal that accounts for the current margin. Edmonton looking for a split of the 2 games in Seattle. 2 home games coming against the Kraken, including one later this week. Nugent Hopkins dug it free. Chance to be powered out by Ekholm, but no, held in at the line, and now Beniers. Jordan Eberle. Sent across. Montour. McCann. Montour. Stevenson. Eberle net front. Vince Dunn. Stevenson loading up. No shot. Dunn. Stevenson, one-timer kicked away by Skinner. 5-on-3 down to 50 seconds. Shot Montour. Skinner kept it out. Eberle and Stevenson are able to gather the rebound. Vince Dunn. One-timer Montour. Painful block, Nugent Hopkins. Eberle. Dunn. Eberle. Bouchard closing off the lane. A shot easily flicked away by Skinner. Dunn. Montour. McCann. Montour. Stevenson in front. Deflected wide. 15 seconds on the 5-on-3. Jared McCann shoots and a save. Skinner up near the clavicle. He's got it.
Solid penalty killing here, and good sticks in lanes, just not allowing that real high-quality chance in front. Jared McCann's been all over the front of the net with Jordan Eberle, and there's been a few chances that have gone right through, like that one there off the stick of Stevenson. This blast here by Montour, again, eaten up by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who's having a real strong game for his first game in a while. He's the man they sent out there for the 5-on-3. That was a lengthy, hard shift. He'll get some needed rest.
Kraken, a middle-of-the-road power play this year at 18%. Second unit. Evans to Kakko, backdoor, and it never got there for Beniers. Rebound, Ellie Tolman. Fires, high glove off the glass, stayed out. Now it's down to a 5-on-4. And down to 10 seconds on that. And here comes Adam Henrique. Kulak fresh out of the box, and he backhands it in deep. Nurse will kill the remaining time in Seattle. A nearly 2-minute 5-on-3, minute 45, has to settle for just 3 largely perimeter shots.
Tangled up about
yes. Nurse no helmet as he goes to the bench. Larson with a turnover against Connor McDavid. With Savoy and Henrique hits the trailer. Ekholm a shot, and that pinballed wide. Rebound Henrique. Bouchard, wide open McDavid, but he didn't handle the puck and chopped his man down, Riker Evans. That's a penalty. Bouchard, in the meantime, engaged with Marchment, and now Henrique wants a shot on Mason Marchment. 21 seconds to go, and yet another Seattle power play still to come.
Yeah, Edmonton's got to start being a little more disciplined here for McDavid. This is just a reaction after he doesn't handle the pass to him. It kind of jumps up in the air. He follows through and takes down Riker Evans in the process. His puck goes up in the air, and as he comes chopping down, he just didn't want to allow him to get to that puck first because he knew it had gone the wrong way. That's a tripping penalty, easy to have happen. Here's the hit right here. Boom. That's Marchment on Nurse. Knocks the helmet off, takes that number. Henry came over, and I think he was trying to engage with Marchment, and Marchment just kept skating away. Say, yeah, if you want to take yourself out of the play, go ahead, but starting to become public enemy number 1 for the Oilers, and that's the game Marchment plays. He's going to get under your skin, he's going to be physical, and a penalty drawn again by Seattle, another power play for the Kraken.
20 seconds to go. Stevenson wins the faceoff. Dunn to Jordan Eberle. Chandler Stevenson, shadowed by Ekholm and Lazar. One-timer Dunn, block shot, Bouchard. And with 8 seconds to go, mishandled by Lazar. Another chance coming. McCann fumbled it away. And this one will be hoisted up and out by Nugent-Hopkins, and that'll do it for the opening 20 minutes. And on land that was once occupied by the Seattle Sonics, we've seen a game of runs, Louis. The Oilers with the first 8 shots, the Kraken with the next 5, the Oilers with the next 3, and now the Kraken with the last 4, but some emotional engagement throughout.
15 seconds.
This one's still having a conversation. A group of players on the Edmonton bench still having words with Mason Marchment. Like I said, they're all eyeing him up right now. He's been a thorn in their side in this one, and the discipline's been a factor. Edmonton has allowed the Kraken too many power plays here. Too many men, a tripping by McDavid, a couple penalties by Kulak. That's 4. They've killed off a little chunk of this last one here in the dying seconds of the first period, as the face-off is won by the Kraken. But again, just good positioning on this one by Stuart Skinner. The first one doesn't get out, but they stay with it. That should have been down the ice and clear. But when you make a mistake, you recover, and it's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins who recovers on that one to chop it out of harm's way.
Let's send it ringside with our Gene Principe.
Yeah, busy first.
Harness for it is what I kind of gathered from some of your comments towards the end of the first period, as Adam Henrique starts on the kill for period number 2. Seattle's 4th opportunity. Eberle, a little give and go with Chandler Stevenson. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, a power play goal in the first, set up by McDavid and Bouchard. Here's Vince Dunn. Stevenson gets it back from Matty Beniers, but took his eye off it. Seattle has to reload. Kraken haven't shown a great deal of urgency here. Nice play by Savoy at the line. That was well offside, and Seattle has it whistled down. My linesman Trent North, 34 seconds in.
Yeah, maybe looking for that too perfect of an opportunity, the Kraken, but Good penalty killing by Edmonton as well. Stuart Skinner's had to be the best penalty killer with some saves when they do get those shots, but just mishandling of the puck on this one to start the period for Seattle has eaten some time off of that clock, but a minute six, sorry. Still on the power play for Seattle.
Kraken traditionally slow starters. You can see in that upper left corner, one of those 3 leads after the opening 20 minutes this year was against Edmonton in the October matchup, and Seattle hung on to that one 3-2, but only Detroit has scored fewer goals in the first period than the Seattle Kraken, who were 30th overall in scoring. Cat was railroaded by Darnell Nurse. Puck came free. Montour wanted a piece. This one seems like it's ready to boil.
Go for it. Have a piece of him then.
Regula.
Well, I mean, listen, this started from the Marchment hit on Nurse. Nurse just laid a big hit.
Drop pass by Marchment, intercepted by Podkolzin, and here comes Janmark, and he got sandwiched. And the puck clipped off his stick just far enough for Shane Wright. But this, of course, Louis, all stems from the fact that Seattle's on the power play and just can't get set up. Another good read by Podkolzin, and that's just about going to do it. Montour up the right-hand side. Seattle didn't even know how many players they had on the ice. And now Gaudreau, one last reload. 5 seconds on the man advantage as he brings it in. Sharp angle pass, Lindgren a shot, rebound, backdoor, Winard into Cartier. And the Kraken don't even get a shot on net on that last power play. They're 0 for 4 this afternoon. Draisaitl looking for the stretch to Hyman, who corrals back behind.
That was almost a beauty of a pass. Wow, that just missed Hyman.
McDavid. Draisaitl. Ekholm shovels it around. That looked like one of those rainbows that Jordan Love was throwing for the Packers on Thanksgiving Day. Here's Leon Draisaitl.
Go deep. Go really deep.
McDavid. Ekholm gives it back to him. McDavid. Draisaitl. McDavid. Zach Hyman. This is 5-on-5. Bouchard. Draisaitl, give and go with McDavid. Snapshot deflected up off the glass. Rebound, Ekholm and Draisaitl. Trapped in the corner, and the Kraken finally able to punch it back to the red line. Dunn stood up against Ekholm, offside, and a face-off on the dot just outside the blue line.
Chippy game, as you mentioned, Jack, started him. Here's the hit again on Nurse by Marchment. Now, this is a different angle. Boom. I mean, this was a lot harder hit than I thought it was, and that's what the team, Edmonton, has taken exception to. Henrique tried to engage. Nothing happened there. Off the face-off, Regula was trying to engage with Marchment, and then it was Darnell Nurse on Catton with a huge hit. And then Montour came down the next. There's the Hail Mary you were talking about. I mean, that was a perfectly placed lob of a pass by Draisaitl, almost on the tape of the streaking Hyman. Just missed it.
Shane Wright snatched away by Clattenburg, tossed by Alexiak up to Kakko, and now Skinner. Clattenburg off the boards, Curtis Lazar. Regula up to the red line, looking for Trent Frederick. Slowed by Riker Evans. Alexiak didn't get enough on it, but he just walked right through Frederick and powered the puck up through center. Kakko will dump it in. Nurse and Regula. Kraken are not overly skilled. They've just got to be a lot harder on the puck against this team. They will work. But as we've seen with Kraken on the power play, they're not blessed with that elite of elite skill. Sent in deep by Evans. Eberle. Around the boards, Lindgren. Matty Beniers. Stapled by Lazar. Chipped out by Frederick. And clamoring back for that puck will be Montour.
Good defensive play by Lazar there. Use the body.
Check by Emerson on Marchment. Collected by Beniers. Lindgren, a shot wide, rebound, came off the glass. I don't think we should kind of just overlook the impact of Lazar's injury. He was starting to gain some traction when he was hurt in that game in Buffalo, Louis. He was kind of lost. in a poor performance turned in by the Oilers that day against the Sabres. But they lost Philp and Lazar, who was starting to come a bit.
Both centermen, both right-handed shots, both guys that play a 200-foot game.
Here's Adam Henrique. Set in the corner for Nugent Hopkins. Now Beniers. He'll twist one over to Marchment. 5 minutes into this second period. Seattle Kraken on home ice, trailing the Oilers 1-0.
Okay, connect Bluetooth to iPhone.
Sure, looking for paired devices.
Okay, Google, connect Bluetooth to iPhone.
Okay, looking for paired devices.
Go backward 15 seconds. From McDavid, that was punched away by Winter. Larson's double team, but he still was able to sling it through Echo. Assisted cut. And force the Oilers to regroup. That's Savoy. Hard ring around the assisted cut menu. McDavid. Double tap to open the menu. Sport you look so sir includes paid from blue Echo Don H my cadence. Cadence room speaker.
Sportsman. Back. Button. Air cap.
And force the others to regroup. That's Savoy. Hard rim around the boards. McDavid tried to catch DeCord while he was out of his crease. Now Vince Dunn. Likewise double teamed, and Savoy just dogged him. Eventually wrestled free and cleared by Jared McCann. Are they going to give Winard in center ice? They will. Skinner to leave it for Matthias Ekholm. 6 minutes have been played in this second period, and neither team has been credited with a shot on goal. Ty Cartier will backhand it in deep. Seattle credited with the last 7 shots on goal that first period. Of course, they had some power plays. And this is an unforced error against Edmonton for icing.
This period brought to you by Jiffy Lube. From the puck drop to the pit stop, Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
Well, Joey DeCord got off to such a great start this season. Jack stepped in there, and the Seattle Kraken off to a great start this year as well. Their best in franchise history, and then it's been a little bit more of a struggle, I think, as everybody started to feel the effects. Like we've talked about the schedule, teams starting to grind a little harder, the positioning and the seeds starting to take shape in such a tight Western Conference. You're going to get everybody's A game from this point on, and it's happened a little bit earlier, I think, than normal. And for Edmonton, same thing. They're in the same boat right now, trying to grind out wins and points up against a division rival right now that's third in the Pacific.
Oilers are only 2 points out of a playoff spot, just to make your point for you, and only 6 out of first place in the division. Seattle, as you said, best start in franchise history, and to back that up, they're trying to avoid their 3rd straight loss for the first time all year. They haven't lost 3 in a row in regulation or overtime.
Key injuries. We talked about Capo Caco coming back, Jared McCann coming back, Jaden Schwartz, who's been a terrific player against the Oilers in his career, seems to always get on the board against Edmonton, out for some time.
Montour missed some time for the personal reasons.
It's just, you know what, those are things you have to deal with.
Draisaitl in front, flicked wide by Montour. Rebound Montour up the right-hand side for Jordan Eberle. Now Matty Beniers. Both teams coming off losses to Dallas. Edmonton 8-3 on Tuesday. Seattle 3-2 on Wednesday.
This is going to be a penalty to Draisaitl on Marchment again.
And this is not playing in Edmonton's favor, despite Seattle's futility on the power play to this point. Marchment takes the elbow from Draisaitl twice. Seattle power play next.
Notification. Facebook back. Button. Facebook. Sportsnet Center. Sportsnet Center. 100. Control Center.
Sustainability partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Every detail matters. Every effort counts. On and off the ice.
There's Mason Marchment. Of course, last couple years with Dallas, the collision with Hyman resulting in Hyman's broken wrist and his subsequent absence from the Stanley Cup final. Henrique starts yet another Edmonton penalty kill. It's 5th of the afternoon with a successful face-off win and length of the ice clear. He's out there with Savoy, Kulak, and Emerson. Edmonton has been rock solid on the kill, but how many chances can you afford to cough up? Beniers to Stevenson. Across to Jared McCann. Eberle lunging ahead of Kulak. Beniers taken out. Stevenson checked by Henrique around to Jared McCann. Beniers. Little spin on Matt Savoy. Behind the net, Eberle. One-timer flubbed by Stevenson. Seattle, the 2nd lowest scoring team in the league. Gifted another chance on the power play. Vince Dunn. McCann tried to snap it inside to Beniers. Broken up. Savoy creates for Emerson. Hard rim around the boards. Stevenson was able to knock it down. Eberle, one-timer ripped right into the chest of Skinner against Matty Beniers.
Good dogged work by Savoy to continue to bobble that puck. Emerson has a chance to rip this one around the wall, but it's kept in by Stevenson on a nice play at the line, then down low, back high to the slot. On a quick passing play, it's Beniers that has that one-timer into the crest. It's a good save by Stuart Skinner. That's when you know you're in the right position, when the puck hits you in the crest.
First shot of the period by either team comes 8 minutes and 15 seconds in. Halfway through the penalty to Draisaitl for elbow. Montour. Off the draw, pass tipped by Lazar. Montour to Cat, the shot, and that ricocheted out of play.
The future Hall of Famer is late for dinner. Coventry Homes, never done building. The official builder of the Edmonton Oilers.
Stuart Skinner trying to make sure Seattle doesn't get to 3. Kraken are 10-0-3 when they score 3 goals. They've got 1 win in 10 games when they don't. They did back in October, and they beat Edmonton 3-2. The Oilers win another draw and pound it up the right-hand side, courtesy of Regula. And Seattle's futility on the power play starts with the fact they haven't won many draws. Montour to Marchment. Cat finds a seam. Great shot off the rush, and another save with no rebound by Stuart Skinner. He's starting to look awfully locked in today.
He has looked locked in, I agree, Jack. And this one here again, transitional chances. They haven't really been able to. Speak of play, but from in motion. This time he takes it in. Nice release. Maybe didn't quite get that exactly where he wanted to shoot it, but the youngster has some jam, and good save by Skinner.
Even on the 5-on-3, a lot of Seattle opportunities from the perimeter. From 20 feet out. Henrique against Cat. And this time, Henrique's going to be moved out, replaced by Savoy. Bouchard and Ekholm, the other penalty killers. Game's only goal, Nugent Hopkins on an edit control. Power play back in the first. Marchment centering pass, and Shane Wright could not make clean contact with the puck. Montour advancing with speed to Marchment. Shane Wright. Marchment. Snapshot. Double ricochet. And that's it for the Seattle power play. The Oilers are 1-for-1 with a man advantage. The Kraken are 0-for-5. So yes, truly the difference today. Special teams. Draisaitl up to McDavid as Edmonton loads up 5-on-5. McDavid takes a pass from Ekholm around the boards to Draisaitl. Spun to Bouchard. Slide step to his right. Around 2, Kraken. Drop pass McDavid. Draisaitl. Hard behind. On his backhand. Ekholm, no shot. Gives it right back to Draisaitl. Good play defensively. Forcing him out by Montour. Bouchard whips it across. Draisaitl to McDavid. Backdoor off the left skate of Hyman. I thought McDavid was thinking Hyman might fan out a little bit wider that time.
Still looking for their first shot in the period. Might be time to start throwing some at Joey Daccord, though, instead of trying to pass around a stingy defensive team. Maybe start looking for shot and rebounds just to soften them up a bit.
Regula steps into a drive, and that was hitting wide. Daccord will freeze it. 9.5 to play, second period. Outstanding afternoon for the kill. And Edmonton up 1.
Three Canadian teams are all on the road later tonight in our Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. The Winnipeg Jets are in Nashville on Sportsnet West at 360. At the same time, Toronto visits Pittsburgh on Sportsnet East, Ontario Pacific, and CBC. Then at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. The Canucks are down the coast in LA to take on the Kings on Sportsnet and, you guessed it, CBC.
Yeah, just getting started this Saturday. A lot of Oiler fans, of course. It's a short flight, making the trip. And who knows, maybe they're sticking around. Maybe there's some Vikings fans. I know Archie Principe is a Vikes fan. I told him they made the wrong move at quarterback, and indeed, I've gotten that right. Sadly, my own team can't figure out their own quarterback issues. We got a face-off coming in neutral soon. And here's Connor McDavid up to his usual tricks. Currently in the league's third leading scorer for the season and in November.
Yeah, continues to put points up, doesn't he? It's just what he does. And has an assist on the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins power play goal, and this one, the only goal of the game so far.
And was that guy between McKinnon and McDavid heated up the other night or what?
He's been hot for a bit.
Jared
What a
McCann.
November. Jason Robertson, unbelievable.
Edmonton just picked the wrong team on the wrong night with a subpar performance, and the result was an 8-3 loss.
Guys gave them a pretty hard night.
Yeah, Wyatt Johnston driven in hard by Ekholm. Here's some more to the front of the net. That went off the pads of Decor. That'll be shot number 2 of the period for Edmonton.
I was talking to McKinnon.
Oh, well, that wasn't any fun either.
Yes.
But I was thinking Wyatt Johnston.
Absolutely. Both games they played against Dallas, he's been phenomenal.
Here's Hyman. But you're right, McKinnon was pretty electric. Shot off the pads of the court, a rebound gobbled up and cleared by Marchment. This one's still sitting at 1-0. Edmonton's only goal on the power play, and what a day for the kill. After going just 1 for 4 against Dallas, 5 for 5 today against Seattle. Here's Mangiapane backing his way in. Marchment took it away. Tried to flick it ahead for Eberle. Montour been activating. He'll back off to the point as Nurse attempts to clear. Eberle put it around the boards, and now Montour's with the puck. Smacked it back down to his captain. Jordan Eberle rolls to the net. A shot through traffic, and Skinner found it to make the save. Rebound out to Lindgren. Montour, shot blocked. And here comes Draisaitl and Podkolzin. He feeds it. Then back to Draisaitl. Takes it hard through Beniers to the net. And he can't sneak it through the wickets of Joey Decor. Eberle pushing ahead for Beniers. Picked off by Emerson. Sets the attack the other way. Draisaitl shoots and scores. 2-0 Edmonton. Draisaitl's 15th. And Emerson started the counterattack.
2 transitional plays by this line. They were really good in the first period. Had a couple great chances. One-timer by Draisaitl. Another chance in tight from Podkolzin. But you're right. This is Emerson stand his ground on the line. Little chip off the wall. Mangiapane picks it up. And the drop pass to Draisaitl. He's got 2 players. A left-handed Mangiapane on the right side. Podkolzin streaking on the left, but he decides to shoot it himself and just beats Decor. That wicked wrister. Look, last second. He just decides to fire this one. Tough save up over the right pad under the blocker. One of the hardest spots for a goaltender to stop. 2-0 Edmonton.
Gord handles a dump in against the line of Henrik Nugent-Hopkins and Janmark. Tough pass up the right-hand side. That turns into an icing call against Seattle and turns into Gene Principe ringside.
All right, Jack, this season the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation is celebrating 25 years of impact in oil country. To mark the occasion, every donation made will be matched by the EOCF up to $1 million in support of the causes that matter most to Oiler fans. Plus, every $25 see it.
Leon Draisaitl, well, he is thrusted on Seattle. That's 29 points in 14 career games against the Kraken. And even by Draisaitl standards, those are superlative numbers. We told you before the game, the 4 all-time leading scorers against Seattle are in Edmonton uniforms today. Bouchard to Draisaitl. McDavid couldn't contain Ekholm will. Hyman net front, Ekholm and Bouchard same side over to Leon Draisaitl. Feathers one inside to McDavid. Heading for the net. And a missed tip by Bouchard. Held in by Ekholm. Right now, Seattle standing around a bit. Hyman to McDavid. Pressure. Turning up against the Kraken. Ekholm knocked off balance. Draisaitl, McDavid shot. And that was partially deflected up on the glass. Held in by Bouchard. Slashed away by Shane Wright. Coming over down to 1D Alexiak. Going to borrow that puck out of there. Neither could Cat. Held in by McDavid. Got it back from Draisaitl and left the puck behind. Otherwise, it's likely 3-0.
Yeah, good movement down low by that line. Loaded up, Draisaitl out there with Hyman and McDavid, and they just go to town on the cycle. Couple good chances. That last one just bobbled on McDavid, or else he was either going to fire that or a tap-in backdoor for Hyman.
Didn't result in a goal, but that's kind of a dispiriting shift for the hosts, one would think.
And this is the advantage of having Nugent Hopkins back in the lineup for Edmonton. Right away, he's the next line over the boards, and they go to work in the offensive zone.
Janmark mishandled, however, and Cartier back through center. Freddie Gaudreau challenged by Darnell Nurse, who pried the puck loose and nearly had it stolen himself by Cartier. Able to get it through to Regula. Tried to muscle it past Vince Dunn. Handed in. He'll reverse it back to Nurse. And eventually angled up to Janmark. Turns and gives Nugent Hopkins at the end of the shift. They'll take it in deep. They'll wait for Edmonton to change it over and then hand off to Kulak for a one-timer from distance. Blocked away by Joey DeCord. Glattenberg hunting for the rebound. Got a hit at the tail end of the play and now takes a pass from Trent Frederick. Glattenberg, the youngest Oiler to score his first goal since Evan Bouchard back in 2018. 20 years of age. Here's Connor Glattenberg. Serves it up for Kulak. Emerson made a fine defensive play to lead to the 2-0 goal. Lazaro will send it around the boards back to Emerson. Kulak. Now Frederick. Emerson. That shift, I'm telling you, Louis, I think it drains some of Seattle's reserves.
Well, it's a great shift to try and follow up on. And this is the third shift in a row now they've hemmed in with Kraken.
Yep. Here's McCann. Had trouble. That looked very close to offside. Ends up putting it up on the glass. Kraken do well to hold his own. A shot got through from Montour. And Skinner will fall on it. Each team with 16 shots on net, but Edmonton has had 2 go in, including one from that man, Leon Draisaitl.
So I figured I would follow their lead in the final game of the month of November. That was November 1st on the way into Rogers Place, and there's every day. I remember to take a photo every day with the mustache as it developed through the month of November/Movember, and if you'd like to donate, that was yesterday after the Edmonton Oilers practiced at the community rink, and I must say, having some facial hair and a mustache is starting to grow on me.
But Colson driving down the right-hand side. Marchment shifted up toward Manny Beniers. His shot guided to the corner by Skinner. Riker Evans. With Seattle trying to push its way back into this game. They've certainly had their chances. 5 on the power play. None coming to fruition. Oilers 1 for 1. Tough crossover from Beniers. Went off Draisaitl's skate. Here's Bouchard. But Colson couldn't get it out. Kraken keep it in. Marchment with 2 men on him. Tried to thread one through. Bouchard picked it off. Marchment frustrated. In the meantime, Draisaitl slides to Mangiapane. Hard in the hole. Shot blocked by Evans. Rebound for Colson. Fought at the bit. Gave way to Draisaitl. Bouchard across. One-timer. Regula and a save made by DeCor. Eberle to Montour. Wedged to the head. Skating into it. Canton on net. Denied! Stuart Skinner. Right-hand save to keep it 2-0. Tossed back in by Vince Dunn. Here's Connor McDavid with 2 1/4 to play in the second period. McDavid rushes in. Dunn failed to clear. Regula across to Nurse. Nurse steps up. Penalty coming. This one against Seattle. Regula to Savoy. Backhands to McDavid. Cuts inside. Hyman. Dropped to Draisaitl, the extra man. Nurse. McDavid. Hyman. And finally, Dunn will touch up with 1:35 to go in the period, and the Oilers looking to put this game out of reach with a late second period power play.
Yeah, here's the lob pass. Berkeley Catton with some speed here and does a nice job to bring this to the forehand, and the extension by Stuart Skinner has to use all the pad to deny him right there with the toe. Great job to extend it at the right moment. And Catton's had a few chances in this game using that speed and skill that he possesses. Second power play, it's going to be a Larson cross-checking penalty. And second power play for Edmonton. They're 1-for-1 in the first period. It was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins that made it 1-0 for Edmonton on the power play.
Seattle can ill afford a successful power play here for Edmonton. McDavid moves in, Draisaitl and Hyman in the slot. Nugent-Hopkins and Bouchard round out the power play quintet. Face-off win for McDavid. Bouchard and Nugent-Hopkins, McDavid, Bouchard, Draisaitl, one-timer blocked, and the rebound, attempted clear, held in by Bouchard. Second effort, Kraken can't get it out. Louis, you talked about it. Those struggles coincided with the injury to Nugent-Hopkins on the power play. He's back, all of a sudden 1-for-1. Nugent-Hopkins feathered to the cross, redirected home, and that's Zach Hyman's first goal of the season. He'll take it. Bank shot, Leon Draisaitl off his skated in, 3-0, Edmonton.
Yeah, it's got to feel good for Zach Hyman. He's been working, he's been grinding to have one go in for him. Big smile going down the bench for the Taps. Good movement here and recoveries. The Kraken, it was a great read by Lindgren on the one-timer for Draisaitl the first time. He came out and he blocked that one-time shot. This time around, though, for Draisaitl, he's so smart. He just kind of gets this puck, and instead of putting it to the net, he zips it in front. Just a quick little wrister. Zach Hyman's right there in the spot, bounces off of him. He doesn't care how it goes in the net. That's why he's there. Such a great net front player. 3-0 Edmonton.
I'm sorry, I refuse to believe that 2-for-16 skid followed by 2-for-2 is just a coincidence. I mean, shot, blocked, rebound, and ring stop by Decor.
Nugent-Hopkins, you heard Chris Knobloch talk about it yesterday, just the fact that he does so many things, but what he does best is he reacts off of both Draisaitl and McDavid. That trio when they're on the ice together. And Roslovic did a great job stepping in there too, by the way. But he just gets himself into spots where he can help the power play. And you've seen it already. He was the one at the blue line there, keeping that alive. Next thing you know, it's in the back end.
30 seconds to go, second period. Edmonton has turned a tight 1-0 affair into 3-0 with 2 goals in 6 minutes time. And this is a game where special teams tells the entire story. Oilers 2-for-2 on the power play, Seattle 0-for-5. Nugent-Hopkins and Draisaitl each with a goal and an assist. McDavid tripped up at center by Cat. Rebound ahead to Cat, and he shoots high and wide short side. And Edmonton leisurely heads off the ice, armed with a 3-0 lead as we get a look at that collision between McDavid and Cat.
Yeah, and McDavid was ready for this one. Looked a lot worse than it was as he kind of sees at the last second, boom, explodes into the hit instead of trying to avoid it. Both guys okay as they get up. A little tap by Cat, who's had a strong game for Seattle.
Go forward, 15.
Washington.
If you already love Sportsnet Plus for the best in live sports, you can now bundle in premium entertainment with City TV Plus. There is something for everyone. Visit sportsnetplus.ca to bundle. Well, in our first intermission, we told you the, I guess, heroic journey of Mark Curtin and his battle through ALS, and somebody on the Seattle Kraken who unfortunately is very familiar with that disease is Brandon Montour. This was him upon the return after the passing of his brother Cameron of ALS, and in his first game against the Edmonton Oilers, what a wonderful touch before the opening face-off. It was one of the Oilers, well, he can be a tough guy, but you know, on the inside, got a big heart, and that is the Oilers' Vasily Podkolzin, who was so quick to go see Montour in a way of being able to just let him know that he was not alone. Podkolzin had seen the story about Brandon Montour's brother the day before on the news, and he went over and said, listen, my condolences, and just to let you know that the hockey world is here for you. And Louis and Jack, Vasily knows that from his own experience when his father unexpectedly passed away during training camp.
Yeah, just a brutal situation. And I know Louie and I both went out of our way to just quickly extend our condolences. And it's a reminder, as the whole week, really, we've talked about it with hockey fights and cancer. There's just so many more important topics to concern yourself with sometimes. Here come the Seattle Kraken, down 3-0. The Oilers with 2 on the power play, 1 at even strength today, and a perfect 5 for 5 on the kill. Bounce back performance in a big way. Eberle a shot the same made by Stuart Skinner, who's just one among many Oilers who have turned in a more than respectable 40 minutes after a tough outing Tuesday where basically nothing looked good. Manny Beniers at center, shoveled in, not to mention the quality of opponent, and the Dallas Stars not the team to have an off night against. In fact, Edmonton's had 2 of them at home against 2 of the league's best, Dallas and Colorado, and they paid for it each time dearly. Draisaitl sends it in. He has a goal and an assist today. His 11th multi-point game in the 14 he's played against Seattle. That is owning the team. Chandler Stevenson bumped off the puck. Cleared and well done by Mangiapane. Draisaitl nearly turned it over, but hacked it right back to center. Marchment tried to jam it in. That went off Nurse. And Stuart Skinner has played exceptionally well today. Hands off to Nurse for a successful lob wedge down the middle of the ice. Icing will be waved off.
Perfect weight on that one. Little push here by the Kraken early in this third, down by 3.
Shot in by Emerson. He got jackknifed over the boards on a hit from Tolvanen. Reversed a second time. Emerson able to keep it in, and now Adam Henry. Territorial control for Edmonton right now. Janmark spun down. Nugent Hopkins. His return has sparked a power play that Louis astutely pointed out had struggled mightily in his absence. 2 for 16 in his 9 games away from the team. 2 for 2 today. Raker Evans off an Oiler clear, will back off. Tolvanen gives it up. Capo Cacto reverses. Tolvanen pushed the backhander wide. Nugent Hopkins, like Draisaitl, has dominated Seattle historically. The Kraken's bid for a 3rd straight win over the Oilers in a lot of jeopardy right now. Ty Cartier's shot well wide of the mark. Rebound skipped off the corner boards all the way back to center. Oilers a 5-game homestand begins Tuesday against Minnesota. Rematch with Seattle on Thursday. Escaping is Bouchard. Plays it ahead. Hyman. Now McDavid will shovel it in deep. Hyman picked up his first goal of the season. Off a Draisaitl centering feed that glanced off his skate. Nugent Hopkins had his 2nd point of the afternoon on that play as well. Savoy got a tip on that puck. No icing. Decor. Advances through Freddie Gaudreau. Eberle following on the forecheck against Bouchard. Won a battle backhander short side, but Skinner was right there to make the positional stop.
Nifty little backhand by Eberle.
Done to Larson. McCann in front, smacked around, and Savoy with a hand high. He's played a good game this afternoon, Matt Savoy.
Yeah, he's been in the battle. And he's not giving up on those loose pucks. He stay with it. So even if you don't win it, you don't lose it cleanly.
Mangiapane with support down low for Emerson. The outlet to Podkolzin. And Emerson, I mean, that was a 1-0 game at the time. Fine defensive play that led to the 2-0 goal. The Oilers haven't looked back. Here's Mangiapane. Across to Podkolzin. Kulak winds it around. Emerson. You lose 8-3, a lot of blame can be shifted around in many places. Come back with a a solid effort. A lot of heroes. Kulak has his shot blocked by Beniers as he struggles to regain solid footing. Draisaitl tried to thread one through to Mangiapane, then got it back, then turned and shot it off his own teammate. Mangiapane to Pokolza. I'm not sure if that doesn't hit Mangiapane. It's in the back of the net.
Close.
Mangiapane tried to center. Marchment picked it off. But really, since that one shift, Louis, Seattle, that took a lot of steam out of the Kraken. They haven't had the same pushback we saw in the first 35 minutes of the game.
It was where Edmonton started to take control of the game. There wasn't a lot happening through the midway point of the second period.
This period brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of no payments, no interest for 1 year.
It was Leon Draisaitl that broke it open, which extends his point streak to 8 games. With his 15th goal that made it 2-0 in that second period, and then a second one by Hyman on the power play made it 3-0 for Edmonton into this third period. Jacob Chikrin's going to have an opportunity to have the all-time record for Washington. He tied Al Iafrate 10 games in a row with a point by a defenseman. He leads that list of streaks right now. And tomorrow in Long Island, we'll have a chance to break it. Pretty impressive.
However, he could never duplicate Al Iafrate's hairstyles.
Yeah. Big shot, though, too.
Henry.
Similarity there. Both of those guys could pound the bill.
Janmark, a shot off the side of the net.
What was that called? A reverse mummy? What did you
Skullet.
Skullet. There you go.
Old Skullet. That was an Iafrate original.
Yep.
And I believe, was Iafrate the first to go north of 100 officially at an All-Star game?
Yeah, I think he was too. I mean, he used to get that big lead and just pound it.
And that was when you guys were basically using firewood. Here's Stackpole.
Really dry wood, that's for sure.
Hyman and McDavid charge across the line. McDavid corrals, shoots and scores. 4-0 Edmonton. McDavid from Hyman. His 11th.
Off the rush here, and just a good job to win the battle on the wall, and that's where it is right there. Savoy, you talked about him earlier. Little support by Hyman. He gets this puck back to McDavid, and it's the center drive. Savoy's the one that starts this from behind, but watch him punch through, and you're going to see him go right to the net. And that's a little bit of a decoy. Hyman flies by as well. A lot of traffic around Decor, but for McDavid, he just finds a way to put this puck in the net. I think Decor probably thought he was going to try and go back into the middle. He elects to shoot it. 4-0 Edmonton.
And just the subtle play there of
just puts
using
it in
the back foot to get it into position to shoot in the first place. It wasn't the easiest pass taken.
Well, you know, that's just the goaltender that's trying to follow that speed across. The pass by Hyman and maybe just a little off his mark. And McDavid, who never seems to ever look at the puck on his stick, recognizes that and puts it in the net. He literally just placed it in the net.
Ekholm, a shot handled by Joey Decor. Oilers back on it, but Colson hard in the net. Backhander denied. Give Ekholm a second assist on the goal. He now has 6 points in his last 4 against the Kraken. And Edmonton's turned this game into a rout. 4-0 with 12:40 to go. Slammed in by Ekholm. Jabbed ahead of Frederick by Joey Decor. And now the Oilers can just roll their lines here. Close it out over the next 12 and a half minutes. Order has been restored today in Seattle. Kraken beat the Oilers twice in a row after a 9-game losing streak to them. But Edmonton reminding Seattle there's still work to be done. Catton will be offside. 12:09 left in regulation. And Connor McDavid with goal number 11. Skate to stick to net. Will Brown.
With more than $4 million donated across Canada this year, Hyundai and its dealers are just getting started. to help kids put cancer in the rearview mirror.
Today's Closer Look brought to you by Specsavers. Don't miss a play. Keep your eyes healthy with regular eye exams, including OCT.
Well, this is the start of the game in the first period. And watch the backtracking here, and the backchecking by Savoy on this play. And then you're going to see Podkolzin again, dogged coming back through the middle, backchecking right to the puck there. Allows the defenseman to stand up. For Chris Knobloch this week, a lot of practice time on defending, a lot of practice time on forwards coming back. Podkolzin's been just a strong player once again with that work ethic. And what it does is it starts your defensive game before the puck even gets into your own zone when your forwards come back that aggressively. And I think something you're going to see from Edmonton here on an ongoing basis. Having trouble in the defensive zone, cut it off before it gets there. Make sure there's more hands on deck back in the zone.
And at the other end of the ice, the usual suspects. We established early on the all-time 4 leading scorers against the Seattle Kraken in their history wore Edmonton colors. Well, all 4 of those players, McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman, all 4 of those players have a goal and an assist today. Here's the end mark. Nugent Hopkins. At least the Kraken can't say they didn't know what could be coming. Same guys. Henry tried to center out to Emerson. Janmark. Podkolzin. Kulak. Snap shot, saved the cord, rebound lifted out by Kakko. And here's Shane Wright. Kulak back with Emerson, and they're able to fork it away. Cartier back on the puck. Winterton drag move. Backhander denied. Stuart Skinner. Jamie Alexiak. Riker Evans. Stripped by Kulak. And up the right-hand side, Emerson. Alexiak steps up. Gaudreau a shot blocked. Rebound Alexiak. Shoots and a save. Stuart Skinner, his 21st of the afternoon.
A little extra bump by Cartier that wasn't taken too kindly to. As there's some extra still going on here as Janmark gets into Gaudreau. And a little frustrated group here. The Seattle Kraken, and this shift by them. A little poke afterwards by Cartier into Skinner, who's had a strong performance. They didn't like good shot by big Alexiak. There's one that gets blocked. Alexiak moves to the middle, and this one zips through everybody. But that last one right there, you could see actually the pad move. It was Cartier that got in there. Brett Kulak right away gets in and says nope.
Century Casino. All in, all games, all season. Century Casino. Great locations in Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile Racetrack. Welcome to the Winner's Zone.
David and Cartier. Away to face off. Midway point, third period. Nurse to Regul up the right-hand side. Hyman stumbled off balance. DeCord to handle the puck. He swings it up the boards, cut off by McDavid. Raker Evans up the left-hand side. Not out. Winterton a second time. Couldn't make a play. McDavid to Regul. Nurse waiting. Tried to center. Deflected away by Freddie Gaudreau, much to Nurse's chagrin, as you may have heard, thanks to our excellent on-ice audio. Gaudreau to Alexiak, and he'll chip and charge around Regula. Takes him against the boards.
He's got away with one there.
You think so?
A hold on the big man.
Maybe. But here's Eberle, centering pass, wrist shot, and Skinner got a piece, maybe Regula as well. Skinner, that might have glanced off his right shoulder. Quick dish, Mangiapane. Hard rim by Podkolzin. Draisaitl let it go through to Bouchard, and now absorbs the initial contact from Eberle. Backhands it to Ekholm. Shot into traffic. Rebound. Trying to go backdoor, but Golden wasn't there for Mangiapane. Cleared by Seattle. Retrieved by Ekholm with 9 minutes to play in the third. Stuart Skinner, 22 saves. Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, each with a goal and an assist. The special teams, Edmonton 2 for 2 on the power play, 5 for 5 on the kill. You get the idea. It's been an Oiler day. Ekholm a deflection out of play, and it's 4-0 Edmonton. One in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third. And Stuart Skinner, clean sheet thus far on Sportsnet. Today's major part of the game brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Parts that make the difference. That's Napa know-how.
Well, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who's missed the last 8 games, back in the lineup. Goal and assist in the power play. Here you see there was the goal. This is the assist as he gets it to Draisaitl to Hyman for his first of the season. 402 shorthanded as well for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. That's almost double of any other forward in the game. He touches so many different areas, and they're happy to have him back in the lineup. That's for sure.
And he's a facilitator on the power play. I mean, even if he's not the most deadly weapon out there, it seems like when the power play is working at its most efficient, it runs through him at some point.
Absolutely. And you put too much focus on 97, 29, 93 will make you pay. He has that attribute as well, too. But for me, it's a 5-on-3 in the first period for the Seattle Kraken. Edmonton took 4 penalties in that period. And 5 in total, 5 for 5 on the penalty kill in this one today. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was who jumped over the board to kill the 5-on-3. I mean, that's what he means to the team, and they're happy, like I said, to have him back to kind of fill that spot, rightfully so.
Sent in deep by Clattenburg. Yeah, I mean, for a while, it looked like Edmonton was determined to keep Seattle in this game with some undisciplined penalties.
Yeah, it wasn't perfect. This is still a work in progress, and there was a big stretch with a Kraken.
They've got Clattenburg stirring up. A big hit.
He's going to go. Here's his first fight.
Freddie Gaudreau might not know what he's in for here. Clattenburg, his first NHL fight, lands a couple of right hands.
He was looking. Richardson came by, too.
Everybody loves a comeback story, and this one is written in the stars. Jasper, happy happens here.
Edmonton, number 64, 2 minutes for roughing, 5 minutes for fighting. Seattle, number 89, 5 minutes for fighting. 2 minutes for
Well, Connor Clattenburg has been a presence since he's stepped into the lineup for Edmonton. He's looking for this. He gets a roughing here as well as the 5-minute major. Gaudreau here in the corner comes to the aid of Riker Evans on that hit, and then just a little headlock here by Clattenburg, and then finally they both shut the gear at the same time. A couple shots. Little bounce goes down, so the first one in the books for Connor Clattenburg. 4 hits at last look, maybe 5 now on that one on Evans. He had 7 last game of the 22 that Edmonton had. He adds some juice, that's for sure.
They're going to give Clattenburg the extra 2 for roughing. This is Seattle's 6th power play of the afternoon. So Hyman joins him. Henrique takes the face-off against Matty Beniers, so now he's going to be relieved of that responsibility. He adjusts Beniers' own right leg, and Savoy ends up winning the face-off, allowing Regula to clear up the right-hand side. That was interesting. Adam Henrique on his way out is like, all right, if we're going to call him that closely, I'm going to move my opponent's own leg. Here's Jordan Eberle. Dropped it off. Ellie Tolvanen. Done. Drive made. On net by McCann. Save Skinner. Rebound. Pool cue down the middle. Here's Beniers back on the attack.
Different look here with Tolvanen on this top unit.
One-timer Tolvanen juggled by Skinner. But another save. The rebound, fought for, controlled by Bouchard. He got it through Vince Dunn.
Yeah, had to work to get it out, but good job by Bouchard to stay with it. Tolvanen's a shooter, 23 goals last year. And he's a guy that likes to fire the pill on the power play, so gets a look there, has a look on the first one-timer. Good save by Stuart Skinner.
Like the rest of the Kraken, off to a slow start. It's 3 goals this season after the 23, a career high a year ago. Stevenson across. Catton, Montour, Stevenson. Saucered over Podkolzin. Janmark pursues. Catton shot. And he missed the net. That clatters off the boards. Berkeley Catton still looking for his first in the National Hockey League.
Hard to believe. Because the 2 games we've seen him play, he's been really solid. He's created some offense in this one today. Had the breakaway denied by Skinner, but he's been all over. It's only a matter of time. Really smart offensive player.
Oh, and they also had, 92 goals his last 2 years at junior.
Both over 100 points.
Shane Wright rolling toward the net. 5:40 to go now. Montour as the power play comes to an end. Marchment across. Mishandled by Stevenson. Area shot on goal in the power play. Seattle's 0 for 6. Nightmarish afternoon on special teams. And Seattle struggles at 5-on-5 continues. Fewest goals in the league. 5-on-5 coming in. 30th overall in scoring. And Edmonton, of course, coming in with its own troubles. Most goals given up 5-on-5 in the league. Here's McDavid dropping it off for Draisaitl. Fresh off the successful kill. It's muscled down low, cut off by Lindgren. And with 5 to play up the boards, Regula trying to get inside of Cartier. He does. But Riker Evans is there to float it ahead for Echo. Stymied by Nurse. That draws into the right side. Another fight. Regula and Cartier. A clubbing right by Cartier. Regula shakes it off. Covers up. A few missed lefts from Cartier. Now Regula tries to get that left hand going. Couldn't quite. And they wrestle one another to the ice. Regula and Cartier. Edmonton in control.
Wild Oilers, Tuesday on Sportsnet 1.
From the current jackpot is $72,358 and climbing fast. Get your tickets now at edmontonoilers.com/5050.
Today's hit of the game brought to you by James H. Brown Accident Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters in injury law. Louis, we had a couple of mid-90s Oilers hitters at dinner last night.
We did. And they guaranteed the win being on this trip. Trent Brown was like, yes, when I'm on the trip, they win. They're up 4-0 here with 4:47 left to go. Pretty spirited fight between Alec Regula and Ty Cartier. Might see a little more of that. But a good hit by Nurse on Catton was the hit of the game. And Marchment on Nurse that started that going. I think Nurse was taking it out after that big hit by Marchment on Catton.
You and Trent got a lot of space in the mid-90s in Edmonton. Bouchard in over the line. No one came over the middle on the Edmonton football team back then with Trent patrolling. And, of course, you were in your heyday. What was the hair at that point, mid-90s? Was it still long and flowing, or you had tightened it up by then?
I might have tightened it up by then.
Here's McDavid. Chipped up by Larson. Eberle hoisted it down deep. Ekholm. McDavid will reverse it back. Ekholm this time tries the right-hand side. You've got McDavid dumping it in for Frederick, and Edmonton will change. 3:45 to play. The Oilers have salted this one away. They'll go home with a record of 11-10-5 and feeling a lot better about themselves than they did after Tuesday's game, when they were shellacked by Dallas. They need to bounce back. The Oilers have. And now a 5-game homestand awaits. Emerson squeezes off Kakko. Frederick up the right-hand side, and Lazar trying to plow his way through Alexiak. Couldn't do it. Tolvanen gained the line. Hard to the net between the wickets. save made by Skinner, his 25th today.
Bet99.net is a free-to-play website built in Canada by Canadians for Canadians. So Canadian, it's the official partner of the NHL. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Free play only website.
There's that 5-game homestand we were talking about. Louis, you and I will be on Sportsnet 1 Tuesday against the Wild, who've won 7 in a row going into today's game against Buffalo. You and I will watch that one on the plane. And we'll be on 9 Eastern, 7 Mountain on Tuesday. Just a warning for you. You're not escaping. The plague continues to follow you. Here's Bouchard up the right-hand side. Janmark kicks it back. Bouchard tried to angle Nurse, and now we've got Nurse trying to go after Marchment. And Marchment declines the offer. I think that was a final settlement of affairs for the earlier hit by Marchment leveled on Nurse. The officials are thinking, let's get these guys out of here. Play the final 3 minutes uninterrupted.
Well, you kind of felt there was going to be some more, especially after the Clattenburg fight on Gaudreau. After that, you saw Regula go with Cartier. Both of these teams' backs are up right from the get-go. And it was Marchment that was really under the skin of Edmonton, especially in the first period. Big hit on Nurse in the corner. And this is Darnell saying, hey, now it's time to maybe get this settled. And Marchment says, nope, not at this point in a 4-0 game.
Well, the rematch is Thursday in Edmonton.
And there might be some fireworks early in that one. The carryover from this one.
Seattle 27, 10-minute misconduct each.
Yeah, both players get 10-minute misconducts. Did they warrant it? Probably not, but with 2:59 left in the game and a 4-0 game, and obviously both officials know what's gone on and transpired here. They get the hot shower, so to speak, settle things down.
Again, in case you're just joining us, Oilers' perfect afternoon on special teams. 2 for 2 on the power play with Nugent Hopkins back. And just as importantly, with Nugent Hopkins back, 5 for 5 on the kill, including a minute 45 of 5-on-3 time where Seattle could have tied it. Kraken walking with a drive. That's blocked away by Skinner. And the rebound available at the side of the net. Skinner able to put that to rest. And then the usual suspects, McDavid, we mentioned Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, Hyman, all contributing a goal and an assist on the score sheet in support of that man, Stuart Skinner, whose night on Tuesday lasted only 20 minutes. He did not love his practice on Thursday, had a better practice on Friday, and felt raring to go this afternoon, and it showed in his play. Shane Wright against Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who, of course, just as I say that, is chased out of the circle. Henry pulls it back, and now Ty Emberson with 2.5 to go. Clears the zone. Kraken are going to lose their 3rd in a row for the first time all season. Montour clubs one wide. Capo Caco. The Oilers, for all their struggles, are going to be 4 points out of first place. Montour's shot, blocked by Henrique. He does have a skate blade. Yeah, the blade
blew right out of the...
So Henrique is kind of hopping his way toward the bench, and Skinner with a presence of mind to reach out and freeze the puck.
Play Alberta's biggest offer ever is here. Sign up today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Solid block here by Henry, too. To be noted in a 4-0 game, he does not allow that Montour shot to get through. You can see how quickly that blade just exploded and went into the corner. Pretty good job to get back to the bench without some steel.
Hammered wide by Montour off the draw. Jared McKay. Seattle trying to get it on the board. Another blast by Montour to save Stuart Skinner. Here's Ekholm with 2 minutes to go. Shovels inside the Seattle line. Montour advanced through to Eberle. Punches it behind the net. Skinner calm as can be, hand off to Ekholm. But Golson to Leon Draisaitl. Stood up by McCann. His helmet came off. He's got to leave immediately. Beniers will leave it in the corner. McCann elects to stay on. Put the helmet back on. A drive, meanwhile, by Podkolzin, who's fended off by Joey Daccord. Emerson to Kulak. Draisaitl surveys. His pass broken up. McCann to Beniers. And he'll just wedge it behind the Oiler defense. One last change for the Seattle Kraken with a minute to play in the third period. And the Oilers about to go to 13-4 all time against the Seattle Kraken. Jamie Alexiak up the middle. Ekholm, soft toss, Lazar, and on to Trent Frederick, who drives his way toward the net. The backhander sifted wide, rebound Ekholm to Bouchard. Shattered his stick as he tried to blast one on net. Evans ahead. Bouchard now entrusted with new lumber will back off with 30 seconds to play. Stuart Skinner's going to go to 9-3 lifetime against Seattle. Daccord leaving it for Riker Evans. Alexiak, the home run to Winterton is broken up. Nugent Hopkins to center, Janmark, and this is going to be Stuart Skinner's 9th career shutout, the 2nd this season. He bageled the Rangers in Madison Square Garden, and with 24 saves today, he does the same to the Kraken and Climate Pledge.
Well, I think everybody was on high notice after that tough loss to the Dallas Stars, and they had some time to put the work in during the practices this week. And this team came out with a little different mentality. It was in the balance, a little undisciplined, I thought, early in the game into the second. Once they started to reel it in, they made the plays that were necessary, got the goals that were necessary, and more importantly, got the stops and the defensive play that's necessary for this team right now. Good team win by Edmonton.
Today's play of the game, Louie. Keep going. Brought to you by Rogers. Yeah. This is our game.
Well, this is the second period where they started to take over the game, and they started to put plays in the offensive zone and the transitional play. Could stand up on the line because of the backtracking of the forwards. Emerson to Mangiapane to Draisaitl, and he elects to shoot this one. That's just a good check right at the line by Emerson. Sets this play in motion for Draisaitl. Walks to the middle and just cleanly beats Daccord. They never look back after that. So there you go. Yeah, McDavid and Draisaitl have done in their careers versus the Seattle Kraken, and why they get so fired up and understand it's going to be a tough night. 30 points for Draisaitl, 21 for McDavid. Pretty incredible.
I'll tell you what, good luck to the Seahawks tomorrow. The Huskies are getting pounded by Oregon. The Oilers shut out the Kraken, and yesterday the Seattle Torrent, the professional women's team, also shut out on home ice. Rough weekend if you're in the Emerald City.
Rogers Oilers Hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the Rogers 5G Plus Network. Plus it up with 5G Plus plans that give you more on Canada's most reliable 5G Plus network. And by Molson. We've been everywhere because we're for everyone. Molson. Everyone in.
Today's Molson 3 stars. Louis, this is kind of an easy call, but also kind of a tough one.
Yeah, there's lots of guys that were involved in this one tonight. Draisaitl goal and assist, big impact for him. Nugent Hopkins in his first game in a while missed the last 8. Goal and assist, and for Stuart Skinner, 9th career shutout. He's made the saves he needed to make. Hyman honorable mention, McDavid honorable mention, and I think just the team in general came out with a more concerted effort together, but a lot to pick from in this one.
Hey, you're running out of pages.
Hey, they say 3 stars, but there's got to be a couple honorable mentions.
Edmonton wins going away 4-0, and we're just getting started on Hockey Night in Canada tonight. It's Winnipeg in Nashville on Sportsnet West at 360. Pittsburgh plays host to the Leafs on Sportsnet and CBC. Those are 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific starts. And the nightcap, Vancouver visits LA, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on Sportsnet and CBC. Well, the Edmonton Oilers on a Saturday matinee blank the Seattle Kraken 4-0, a goal and an assist from McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman, and a shutout for Stuart Skinner. Hockey Central's coming up next. For Gene and Lou, I'm Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, the pleasure is all